folks, Draven here, back with another first look this morning. Good morning, mad lad. Hope you're doing fine. We're going to be looking at this game today, the Innsmouth Case. This came out a couple of years ago actually, but I just got sent a code by Lovecraft. So many thanks to them. As usual, it doesn't affect any of the opinions I expressed during this video since they are my own. This says it's a text adventure game, so there's probably going to be a lot of reading in it. So it came out in 2020. It's currently on sale. It's 90% off, so it's only £1. So if you like this, once you've seen the video, I would grab it now. I haven't seen it that cheap before. So let's load this up. It's written in Unity, and we shall see what it's like. Right, I did actually tell it to go into full screen, because I've just loaded it up. Look, full screen. There we go. Okay, new game. There is some settings in here, not many. I like the book layout. Is that on or off? No, we want that on. We'll have candle flicker on, will we? Well, that might be a wee bit annoying. Let's leave it off. Alright, new game. Boston, Massachusetts, your office. We are fans of the strange world of Innsmouth, but we recognise the problematic beliefs of H.P. Lovecraft. This game has been produced by a group of people who believe in inclusion and equality. Okay. Your progress in the story will be saved at the end of each chapter, 35 chapters in total. At the end of a chapter, with the screen fades to black, and the green save icon appears at the bottom right of the screen. We recommend you always end your game after such a save point to make sure none of your progress is lost. Okay, we can skip if we do. Bit problematic if you're a streamer then, if it only saves at the end. Good morning, Kaiser. How are you feeling today? Hopefully better. The last rays of sunshine filter through the blinds of your empty office. A pathetic stench of whiskey, cold cigarette smoke, and canned ravioli fills the air. The screeching tires and constant beeping of car horns out there on the street tell you that it's gone 8 PM. People are on their way home, finishing their day. You should join them. It's still not 100% done, but getting there. As long as you're getting better and not worse. I'm not too bad. Let me go on here. So we decide to stay at our desk or go home. Let's head home. You breathe a deep sigh. It may not have been a successful day, but at least it's over. You're looking forward to a classic Friday night, watching old mystery series at home in sweatpants and getting drunk on cheap booze. Since the early afternoon, you've been staring at the foreboding bottle of liquor at the other end of the room. Up until now, a vague sense of professionalism has kept you from drinking yourself into oblivion. Now nothing stands in your way. Suddenly, you hear someone at the door. I'm not sure. I mean, Lovecraftian is all about. It's quite horror-filled and maybe quite a lot of taboo subjects, things like that. A lot of weird things, really. That's where Cthulhu comes from and things like that. This don't make a sound. You freeze and hold your breath. No, no, no. Nobody will ruin your well-deserved evening. You're as quiet as a mouse. You listen intently. The woman just outside the door knocks again. Pesky clients. I can see you through the window. I guess we give up and let her in. Oh well, it could have worked. So what if you'd clock out a few minutes late? You clear your throat and loudly invite her in, as if nothing had happened. The door slowly cracks open with a timid creak. The unknown guest pauses. Then, in a breathy and melodic tone, you hear a woman utter, "Hello?" Your insides cramp. You suddenly realise that you haven't cleaned your office at all this year. Just invite her in. By the light of the desk lamp, you now see more than a silhouette. A breathtaking woman lights up your office. No doubt older than 40, maybe even 50, hard to say. Clad in black, a skin-tight dress culminating in a décolleté that seems to defy the laws of gravity. I presume this is the décolleté. A smoky eyeshadow, as dark as algae, washed ashore. Blonde, coiffed, wavy hair under a dark beret. The faint light of the setting sun catches in the strands of her hair, and you wonder how many heads this woman must have turned during her prime. Yeah, you probably need the fancy little letters. Alexa, what's a décolleté?
From Siliv.com. Make sure your décolleté area, that's your chest area, ladies, matches your...
Alexa, stop. She even didn't get it. I probably didn't say it correctly. She's completely different from your usual customers. Nervous bankers with sweat stains under their armpits, convinced their wives of something going on with the mailman. Every move she makes is calculated grace. Smooth as an eel, she walks towards you and sits down on the corner of your desk. Determined, she walks towards you. There we go. Which is a little bold, makes you blush. It's a little bold, I guess. She's a little bold, without asking you first, but as a professional you're not giving anything away. Ah, okay. Just one tea. Ah, the low neckline itself. Okay. She seems to want to play the seductive damsel in distress. The quiet, amused voice of your subconscious is pleased that this stranger may be sharing your enthusiasm for film noir cliches. A far louder voice is surprised that this woman seems to think that a sexy pose and revealing clothes could win you over, and both voices agree that they don't like being manipulated. You don't think that the stranger perched on your table is trying to recover from a hard-working day as a lingerie model, and therefore you see no logical reason for her behaviour. When she begins to speak, her voice is smoky and full of promise. "My name is Delilah Marsh. I'm looking for a private investigator. I was told you are one of the best." She extends her arm. "You've come to the right place. Lady, what can I do for you?" You sit back in your chair and fold your arm, hands over your stomach. The woman seems a little irritated that her provocative behaviour seems to have had no effect on you. She moves from the edge of the desk and sits down on the chair opposite you. Yes, She clears her throat. As she continues to speak, the smoky seductiveness creeps back into her voice. "My name's Delilah. I need help." Ask for more details. It's about your daughter Tabitha. She has disappeared. You're pulling out paper and pencil. This is going to be a walk in the park. A walk in the Kidnap Kids Park. Well, when did you last see her, and where? The woman puts on a fake smile. "We live in Innsmouth. It's a small port town north of Arkham." Is that Batman's Arkham? You frown. This is a bit vague. What was your child doing when you last saw her? What hobbies does she have? "Oh, you know, kid stuff. They just run around and play with their yo-yos, that sort of thing." Delilah nervously combs her hands through her hair. What does your daughter look like?" "She's only 8, and the sweetest girl you can imagine. She's been missing without a trace since last week. None of her schoolmates have seen her, and no one knows where she might have gone. She hands you a photo. Look, this is my little munchkin. Good heavens, is this supposed to be a joke? Is that really the face of a child or a shoddy photo edit? Are you being filmed as part of a reality TV show? A bit of stomach acid and the last bite of lunch slowly but surely make their way up into the back of your mouth. Swallow it. I think so. With narrow eyes, you swallow the bile and involuntarily pull a face. Delilah continues to look at you hopefully. She obviously didn't notice your little mishap. That was close and could have been unpleasant. I'm so desperate. Her eyes lock with yours. Let's go for this. Is it Dahlia or... yeah, Dahlia nervously combs her hands through her hair. Let's ask about the yo-yos. No friends. Does your daughter have any friends she might be staying with? Classmates, sports club members, anything like that? Dahlia silently shakes her head. Very strange. You're about to ask if the girl at least had imaginary friends, but you hold back. I've no further questions. You mumble, more to yourself than to her. Dahlia stretches her neck imperceptibly. No doubt, she would like to take a look at your notebook. Your pen hovers over the notes you've taken. Missing daughter, dodgy lady. That's it, you've worked with less. Are you going to take the case or not? Yeah, let's take the case. You nod, a missing persons case, nothing unusual. The conventional little girl runs away from home after reading her first romance novel. Usually they hide at the edge of the forest, or in a library. Should be pretty straightforward. Before you can say anything, she drops a photo of the child and a roll of bills on your desk. For your expenses. You nod slowly, trying not to drool down the front of your shirt. You haven't seen this much money in ages. What's the dice for? I want to play with the dice. You don't have much time to prepare. A quick search reveals that only one bus goes to Innsmouth, and only once a day. A pattern emerges in your research. A few news items related to this little coastal town are all about missing persons. In addition, you find some rather old-fashioned articles that praise the coastal town as a secret holiday destination. The best fish, untouched beach promenade, authentic fishing people are the recurring buzzwords. Dahlia has given you the address at which you're supposed to drop off her daughter as soon as you find her. She also wrote down her phone number on the child's photo. You take another look at the picture before you pack your things. Seaside promenade, okay. Then next morning, you travel by bus. It's a lot of reading, but it does say it's a text adventure. Hey, Shockmill. How are you today? Hope you're doing fine. Your journey begins at a busy bus station. There is supposed to be a bus line that departs from here to Innsmouth. Buses, you think to yourself, are not only an environmentally friendly means of transportation, they're also easy on your wallet. Sadly, the departure boards aren't of much help. New York, Maine, Rhode Island, no trace of Innsmouth as the destination. You wander around for a while until you notice a cleaner eating a sandwich on the side of one of the vending machines. Let's talk to the cleaner. Excuse me, where can I find the bus to Inns? Without letting go of his sandwich, the cleaner points to an abandoned counter in the dingiest corner that a public bus station could be capable of. The man gives you a nod, indicating that anything that can be said has indeed been said. You find that the counter is elaborately decorated with cobwebs. It's a bit early for Halloween preparations, but at least someone's made an effort. At the moment, nobody seems to be there. You press your face against the plastic window to peer into the room behind. Hello? Hello? Is anyone there? I have to go to Innsmouth. No one there. Suddenly, out of nowhere, a bus ticket appears on the counter. Might the trip be free? Yeah, this is Lovecraft, Shako. It's story time, that's it. Should we leave a payment? No, just take the ticket. Yuck. In all likelihood, the ticket was already on the counter, and you simply hadn't noticed it before. Someone must have paid it, and just left it there. This is what you tell yourself while you are looking for the departure gate with the ticket in your hand. Where's this bus hiding? In between the polished greyhounds and travellers storing their luggage, saying goodbye and dropping tiredly into their seats, there's a kind of dumpster. A dumpster with windows and wheels. No, it's actually a bus. It's a bit on the rusty side, and even from a distance you sense the strange smell it emits. Is that sulphur? Oh, you were playing The Room too, were you? How are you getting on with that? You're not convinced how this thing is supposed to drive. In its vicinity, everything is noticeably quieter than at the other bus stops. The people getting on show no sign of emotion. Nobody's trying to jump the queue here. Instead, the passengers move past the bus driver at a uniform speed, one after the other, shuffling up the creaking steps. Each two-seater bench is occupied by individuals, as if they want to make sure not to come into contact with their fellow passengers. The sign clearly says Innsmouth. No departure times, no stopovers, just Innsmouth. Undecided, you're standing on the stairs of the bus. Let's just show our ticket. You hand the driver the ticket. No reaction. At least you can't make out a reaction. The lighting is poor and the shadow of his dusty driver's cap covers almost his entire face. You notice something strange on his neck, but you can't quite make out what it might be. You're standing in the door, waiting for an okay, a nod, anything. The sulphur odour has increased. A queue has formed behind you, but no one is pushing or complaining. You started the Room 3 just now. They're much fun, though I don't care too much about the plot. Yeah, the plot wasn't very strong, I don't think, in those games. I think I enjoyed the plot line more in the Da Vinci games. The people wait quietly and patiently. Just keep walking. You shuffle sideways through the centre aisle. You don't remember the bus looking this long from the outside. You're surrounded by shabby two-seater benches and some are already occupied, one traveller per row. The last bench is free. Looks like the upholstery is torn in some places though. Or has it been split open? You can see springs with sharp wire edges. Some sticky liquid seems to have leaked onto the floor. Why didn't you just sit down in one of the free rows? Here in the back, almost everything is occupied. Most of the passengers seem to have purposely sat down in aisle seats, blocking off the window seats. Maybe this is an opportunity to get a little closer to the common Innsmouth visitor. You gaze across the rows of seats. Do we go to the back or do we sit down with somebody? See, if it was me, I'd go to the rear bench. I wouldn't be sitting down next to somebody because I'd have to talk to them. But we'll sit down with somebody. As a non-conformist, you join one of the passengers in the double seat. Since only one man was so considerate as to sit at the window, your options are limited anyway. As far as you can tell, the man is a haggard figure with barely any luggage. The hood of a grey jumper pulled far onto his face. The man looks out onto the street as if something very important is happening there that requires his attention. Is the seat taken? You ask politely. He turns his head and gives you a brief once-over. Oh, he looks really normal. Without saying a word, he turns away again. Let's just sit down. Alright, that wasn't a no either. You sit down and regret it instantly. The smell of sulphur is now overpowered by something else. Something that smells like it's been in the sun for too long. You're trying to catch a glimpse of what's under the hoodie. Does this person have a genetic defect? Is he malnourished? You're not sure exactly where the problem might be, but you're trying to stay professional. You awkwardly stare at the headrest of the person in front of you. Let's just go with the awkward silence. It may not have been the best idea to sit next to an unpleasantly smelling stranger. It's almost unbearable, and you still don't know exactly how long this trip will take. You take a look at your surroundings to distract yourself a little. The people all look incredibly tired, so you assume that they are recovering from some physically demanding work in the city. Or from a techno party. A techno party? The two of you sit next to each other silently, and the air seems to get worse and worse with every passing minute of this very, very long ride. The bus leaves the country road and turns off at a wooden sign that says Innsmouth in red, flaky letters. The journey continues rather bumpily along a narrow dirt road littered with numerous potholes. In the distance, some houses are already visible, seagulls circling the roofs of the outermost edge of the city. Slowly, all passengers... Restaurant car, yeah. Yeah, it's a bus. Slowly, all passengers take their bags out from under their seats and get ready. Curious, you look through the side window. That's odd. The bus passes by a huge... What is this? A scrapyard? Parking lot? Why would something like this be right here outside the city? You pass another wooden sign, whose half-peeled writing advertises the Innsmouth Park and Ride area. A lot of cars look like they've been sitting here for years. Sand covers some of the bonnets and windscreens. Yeah, they do, don't they? It would have been nicer to sit in there. At least you'd have been able to lock the door. The front door of the bus opens with a squeak, and you join the monotonous line of locals stepping out of the bus as if in a daze. Almost walking in step, you all get closer to the exit. As you walk down the steps, you have to protect your eyes from the sunlight. Turns out the windows of the bus were tinted. The other passengers shuffle off. The Innsmouth town limits. Finally, Innsmouth. You examine your surroundings while you stretch your legs, trying to unwind from the stressful journey. No artist could have adequately captured the serenity and beauty of this place. A clear blue sky lights up the town square, which is paved with bright limestone and surrounded by neo-colonial buildings reminiscent of a 19th century New England. A fresh sea breeze, crying seagulls, and locals going about their business. In the centre of the square, water trickles from a fountain. As you stretch your limbs and breathe in the clean air, you're suddenly startled by the water feature right in front of you. The fountain is an enormous, fish-like brass creature. An open jaw lined with shark-like fangs spouts brackish water down its massive, inhumanly contorted body. I presume that's Cthulhu. As if that wasn't enough, there appear to be human bodies squirming underneath its massive claws. Their faces are as contorted as yours is right now. How long have you been standing here? Eyes wide open in shock. You feel utterly paralysed. You start to scan the town square and notice more and more disturbing details. On every corner you spot ornamental statues and reliefs of fish. But these are not your classic harmless kind of fish. These are pagan symbols, and grimaces of supernatural creatures from the darkest crevices of the deep sea. In surrounding houses, you can see faces pressed against the windows. All the locals appear to be watching you. You suddenly start to think that the cries of the seagulls sound particularly human-like. They sound like humans crying out in pain. What happened to the idyllic scene from a few moments ago? Welcome to Innsmouth. We turn around. Welcome to Innsmouth. How nice of you to visit. A small elderly woman waves at you from afar. She beams at you as if you were her long-lost grandchild. She seems very different to the boors you've met so far on the bus into town. Her squealing shakes you out of your nightmarish panic. It's so good to have you here. I've noticed you're very taken by our local fountain. It was built in 1704 by Abdul Necrotus, favourite artist and friend of Charles Dexter Tillinghast, the founder of Innsmouth. The central figure was a present, and it was supposed to commemorate their travels together to Cairo. You can clearly see the Egyptian influences in Necrotus's work, here and here. She points wildly in every direction, and here, but I'm sure you've already noticed this yourself. You look like someone who knows his way around art, she says with a wide smile. You're still in shock. She beams at you. Who the hell are you? Oh, have I not introduced myself? I am ever so sorry. In front of you now stands a small, plump person in a tasteless costume. Your rudeness doesn't seem to curb her enthusiasm in the slightest. My name is Muriel Pooping Place. I'm the director of the Parks Commission, Chief Tourism Officer, and head of the Welcome Committee. Ta-da! Behind Muriel, there's a ramshackle wooden information stand, lovingly decorated with balloons. A colourful, painted sign reads, Welcome to Innsmouth. Muriel tiptoes over to her information stand and picks up a whole load of flyers and leaflets from the rickety display cases. She looks down at all the paper in her arms and briefly shrieks with laughter. My goodness, why don't you take the city map to begin with? Useful, you take the map, put it in your coat pocket. Would you like to find out more about our wonderful town, which has been awarded the East Coast Stunning Town Award for several years in a row? Actually, I'm looking for someone. Here I am. The small, plump woman starts giggling. Innsmouth welcomes you warmly. So you're looking for someone. It's not that uncommon for two lonely hearts to find one another in this romantic place. Muriel winks at you. Mention the missing girl. You see, I'm looking for this girl. Always about a girl, isn't it? Tabitha Marsh, 8 years old. Oh right, sorry, let's start again. Tabitha Marsh, 8 years old. Her mother asked me to take on the case. You take out the photo and Muriel immediately rips it out of your hand. Oh, what a cutie, but I'm sorry to say I've not heard anything about missing girls. How awful. This sort of thing doesn't happen in Innsmouth. Perhaps you can have a look around at the beach or on the playground. There are a lot of kids around there. I'm sure that's where the little ones will be. With an unnaturally wide grin, she hands you back the photo, turns around quickly, and makes her way over to accost another tourist family. You head further into town, along the cobbled road in the direction of the coast. Not long ago, the sun was bright in the sky, but already the first wafts of mist are creeping into the streets. The air feels thicker and the sun can no longer penetrate the fog. Time to think about where you want to go. You slow down, you lean your briefcase against the wall and start pacing up and down the quiet alleyway. You've got an important choice to make right now. The city centre is in the north. Even from afar you can see the outlines of the old and ornately decorated buildings in the main town square. Here you should find the police station, the main shopping street, and, of course, the town hall. As a coastal town, Innsmouth also has a harbour. From your research you find out that this is a bustling area with a dreamy beach. You expect there to be mostly tourists. According to your research, the only hotel in town, the Gilman Hotel, is located in the old town. You think about checking in. You could do with freshening up and getting rid of that bus smell that is still clinging to your clothes. Just as you're about to set off, your heart leaps into your throat. You've forgotten your briefcase. This has never happened to you. You usually take good care of the little you possess. There's nothing you can do about this now. You'll have to wait until your return journey to find out whether someone has handed it in at the lost and found. Still, you could swear that the briefcase was already gone when you got off the bus. Where will we go? Let's go to the city centre. Innsmouth Town Square, the beating heart of the city, a big attraction for local tourism. It is animated by groups of visitors who are chatting away in the sun. A lot less animated are the lethargic locals who are lurching about the square. A rather creepy looking fountain is in the middle of the square. A gigantic fish-like stone statue stretches its claws towards the sky with water flowing out of its menacing jaw. The water sprays into the air, providing a refreshing breeze to the tourists sitting around the edge of the fountain. Looking at it closely now, it all rather looks like a giant drooling fish monster. The square is surrounded by handsome old buildings, although the side streets reveal the true Innsmouth, crumbling facades just far enough away that the average tourist doesn't notice them immediately. You also notice the mean grimaces of gargoyles sternly looking down onto the visitors from the corners of their buildings. You make a mental note to block out the Innsmouth architecture in future. At first glance, you can see the town hall and a police station behind the fountain. There should be a few more public facilities nearby, but you don't notice anything right away. Let's go to the police station. Are these all missing people up here? You enter the precinct and find yourself in a small foyer. A counter separates visitors from the actual office of the police officers on duty. This standard practice, observed even in a cranky little town like Innsmouth. A chilly, not particularly inviting old building, with only a single, narrow window on the northernmost wall. The room is bathed in a yellowish light, but rather than a warming glow, it's much more like warm sick. Yellowed wallpaper is about to come loose from the walls, probably a process that has been ongoing for years, the exciting finale of which you can witness today. Almost every one of the poisonous green tiles on the floor has cracks or other small damage. A policeman is on reception desk duty. He looks at you through dull eyes. The police station gives off the same lethargic vibe that you've come to expect from Innsmouth by now, but who knows, maybe they can help you anyway. You talk to the guard. Okay, get down to the point. The life of a little girl is in danger. The wooden floorboards creak under your shoes as you approach the cop. They sound like moaning of an audience somewhere in the distance, commenting on a display of epic stupidity. The cop on duty has been watching you intently ever since you entered the room. He clears his throat before talking to you. So, you want to file a missing person report? Yes, that's why I'm here. You answer truthfully. You're a little startled. How does he know this? Can he read your mind? Perhaps, you think to yourself, he should quit his job and make a lot of dough playing blackjack in Vegas. The cop rummages around for a notepad and pen. Ask for help with the Innsmouth case. So, please let me know all the details. The cop interrupts in a monotonous and bored voice, his eyes trained on his notepad, and then we can start pursuing the case. I don't think I have. I don't think I have. I don't think I've played many games. I've got Saves the World. I've played this one, that adventure game. Gibeus. It was quite fun. I haven't played this. Is this like an RPG? Cthulhu Saves the World. So, this is about Tabitha Marsh. Thinking about it, I wonder if a missing persons report has already been filed. Could you please let me know about any news on the case? The cop frowns. Tabitha, no, I've never heard that name before. Don't react. You lift your hands in a soothing gesture. There are definitely better ways of spending your time than trying to pick a fight in the police station. The whole thing is probably already dealt with. I'm sure there's an explanation for everything. The cop gets out of his chair. A voice in the back of your mind tells you that it is a good thing you've separated from him by a glass window. He turns to go back into the office, but by that point, you're already on your way out. It was very good back in the day, but unfortunately now it is very buggy and outdated. Okay, it's a shame then if it was a good game. Is their version of Innsmouth amazing? So Innsmouth is a Lovecraftian place that's used a lot then. Something tells you that you're wasting your time here. You say goodbye quickly, and under the stern watch of the cop on duty, you leave the station. As you step outside, you start wondering whether you had seen the guy's eyes blink at all. Oh well, not that important. You leave the police station. When the heavy door snaps shut behind you, you exhale. Without noticing, you have been holding your breath ever since turning your back towards the little wooden desk. There was something off about that cop, and he didn't take an online detective course to figure that out, and it didn't take him. So. Back to the town square. Maybe we should just go to the harbour. It's in most of his novels. Okay. I've never actually read any. Maybe I should. Innsmouth Harbour is signposted much better than the local hospital. You wonder if a hospital is even needed here. It's a half-hour walk. A mile-long carpet of cobblestones is now ahead of you. The traffic in Boston is more hectic, but at least they have heard of asphalt before. As you keep walking, there are fewer and fewer residential buildings along your path. In their stead, there are now warehouses that must be fish markets due to the smell. You can also hear the occasional metallic clanking from nearby workshops. People in grey raincoats are walking toward you. They're probably fishermen who have some errands to run. Now and again, in that split second when you pass one another, you catch a glimpse of the faces hidden under the hoods. Why are they all wearing hoods? Puffy eyes that look at you suspiciously. Although there are a few clouds in the sky, there's no chance of rain as far as you can tell. Why are they all wrapped up like this? You wonder if they have a sixth sense for approaching storms. The sound of the rhythmic blows of a hammer nearby tears you away from those thoughts. You've read a few, you just love the lore, but unfortunately his personal beliefs are also very much outdated. He has put his opinions in his writing as well. Okay. It would be interesting to watch the work in a shipyard, but little Tabitha is unlikely to be here to play. From a distance, you can already see the masts of the boats, which rise up into the sky like a row of spears. You walk along a small street at the quay, and the harbour basin just behind it. Let's have a look around. The view of the harbour is splendid. Boats of all shapes and sizes are coming and going. Nets are being emptied out, and fish seem to be endlessly splashing into huge freezer boxes. Local trades are being sealed with handshakes, and at the end of a wide headland, a huge lighthouse watches majestically over the bay. The ideal postcard motif if it weren't for the people. I don't know much about him at all, so I can't really make any comment. You only know fishermen from the movies, and you have to admit that you have a certain prejudices. These include, they have weather-beaten skin, and the captains always have well-groomed beards. They're either strong, silent types, or hard-drinking lads who sing filthy sea shanties. But these creatures in front of you are neither majestic nor leery. Leery? They move around more like tragic hunchbacks you'd expect to see in French cathedrals. A few yards to the right, there's a fork in the road, and a road sign pointing further north. Its inscription reads, Innsmouth Paradise Beach. In the far distance, you can see a building that looks like a church. Hang on, a church on the coast? How eccentric. Let's have a look at the church. The church is located on the hill overlooking the harbour. You are immediately drawn toward it. You stroll along the docks towards the cliffs. You take in the pleasant sea breeze and the hustle and bustle on the ships. Your original mission pops into your mind. This place is so relaxing. It's just too easy to forget about the little girl. Out of the corner of your eye, you can see 3 fishermen whose boat has just moored. They are not working. In fact, they're not doing anything. They're just standing there staring at you. That feeling of serenity is slowly overtaken by anxiety. Let's have a chat to them. What are you looking at me for? You shout across at them, giving them an aggressive look. You bet these little sea oafs have never before come across a tough city type such as yourself. One of the 3 still observes you with mild interest. The others are already looking at their nets. After a few yards, you turn around again. They're all gone. The crew must have disappeared below deck in their little boat. What a strange bunch. Suddenly it's utterly plausible to you that people in this town can disappear just like that. You're a little closer to the church building now, and you're relieved. That's misspelt, sorry. There's an E missing from that. And you're relieved to find that there are a few dozen people outside its gates, and they're not the usual creepy Innsmouth kind. The group are gesticulating and discussing something in a very animated manner. Normal people. As you reach the courtyard, you're able to assess the situation a little better. 2 groups with about the same number of people are confronting one another, surrounded by a few more reserved onlookers. 2 shouty people who appear to be the representatives of the 2 camps are facing each other. A bronze plaque is displayed above the gates to the entrance. Engraved on it, the esoteric order of Dagon. Let's ignore the crowd. Whatever their issues might be, they clearly don't concern you. The two parties are so engrossed in their discussion, they don't even take note of you. You stroll past them unnoticed. Oh, I think they'll have noticed you. Why not? You're already here after all. Almost immediately, two grumpy-looking men, clothed like fishermen, stand in your way, preventing you from entering the church. They seem to have a competition going on as to who can give you the most sinister look. I need to go in there. You murmur, a little intimidated. I don't think so, scoffs the younger of the two. Yeah, don't think you need to go in there. This is only for the children of Dagon, the older one grunts. They look at you with a glint in their eyes. I guess we leave the churchyard. You decide to leave. Other than religious fanatics, the Church of Dagon does not seem to have much else to offer, and there are enough of those in Boston. You walk down the sloping path from which you have come until you are back at the quay wall of the harbour. Let's have a look at the beach. The beach, the screeching of seagulls, and the endless white, well, brown, okay, fine grey beach, and the sound of waves. Clean? Well, potentially clean. The algae are way too dense to really tell. You walk on the sand and move a little closer to the waterline, curious about what you might discover there. Although the sea is not stormy and the tide is low, Innsmouth Beach is not really a touristy place. Everything is simply too grey. This is what you associate with a real vacation. Cocktails. The more paper umbrellas, bits of fruit and straws, the better. You rub your hands. You can hardly wait to blissfully collapse into a hammock with a drink in your hand. You were born for that. Lost in thought, you keep wandering over the dunes. You notice how all the colours of the sea and the beach seem to be swallowed up by the strange light conditions here. You hold your hand up in front of your face. Your skin looks grey and matte. But still, you feel relaxed. The murmur of the sea invigorates you. You feel a deep sense of longing within you, a serene sense of inner peace and freedom, until the techno music starts. A monotonous beat. The sound seems to come directly from the beach bar a few hundred yards off in the distance, which appears to be surrounded by a dozen people. Given the change in weather, it's perhaps no surprise. What else is one supposed to do on this beach apart from drink cheap cocktails and dancing to bad music? Something strange grabs your attention. A kind of cage standing in the shallow water, perhaps 12 feet wide and deep. You walk to the cage. I've never tried a hammock. They just don't look... Yeah, that's how I would feel. I don't think I'd be comfortable in one. So I've never tried it. Thanks to the low tide, you're able to get close to the strange object. The sea has retreated into the distance, and so the cage stands there, looking strangely lost. As you approach it, you take off your shoes and socks, and turn your trouser legs up a little. Finally, you stand in front of the cage. There's a visible line on the cage about 3 feet from the ground. The metal on top half still looks quite stable. The bottom half must normally be submerged in water. Slimy black algae winds around the metal rods. The size of the cage. Why is it here? Very strange. The dunes are not that far away. On your way you notice that this is part of the beach that usually remains untouched by the water, so even the high tide doesn't get to it. You must have only walked 50 yards. Even if the tide comes in, you think that the cage will never actually be completely submerged in water. But isn't that the point of these things? You start thinking about lobster cages, and then shark cages. That's all you find here. You linger for a bit, then walk back to the sandy part of the beach. The cries of the seagulls are increasingly drowned out by the early techno beats. One note, that's all some people need to enjoy themselves. One note in an endless loop. The owner of the beach bar has taken great pains to make up for some of Innsmouth's deficits. The bar is made from wooden planks and features a nice countertop and an exotic canopy made from palm leaves. Admittedly, the palm trees are no longer green. They're grey and dried out, just as if a demon had sucked the life force out of them. But it's easy to imagine that all this must have looked quite pretty once. Well, it could be, couldn't it, Juju? The bar is flanked by wooden bar stools, and a few metres away, towards the ocean, 2 rows of deck chairs have been put up so that people can get drunk while lying down. From a distance, the bar looks busy, but now, as you arrive, you realise that the party is already over, if it ever did take place. A dozen people hang out here. A few surfer dudes stagger about like zombies. Some of them carry empty cocktail glasses around. Some of them yell, "Party!" and woohoo enthusiastically. Precisely this kind of people. A guy with long hair and sunglasses nods his head in time to the techno beat and taps along on the bar counter with his flat hand. There's no bar staff in sight. One of the tourist families you had spotted on the way here has spread out on the deck chairs. They're evidently trying to keep away from the party. You look around. Well, there was no bar staff, was there? Let's take up one of the deck chairs. It can't hurt to just rest for a moment. It means you'll be able to resume your mission full of energy. Or whatever. Most of the chairs are free. All offer excellent views of the sea and the increasingly cloudy horizon. You're spoilt for choice. Of course, you're going to... over to where the other tourists are? Yeah. Why not? Maybe you'll be able to learn their language if you spend some time around them. It's one of the families you'd already noticed a few times today. Happily chatting parents who are constantly eating and their chronically bad-tempered children. The 4 are hard to miss with their loud chatter and tasteless tourist outfits. They've settled down on the deck chairs, sipping on some soft drinks. You clear your throat, the international sign for, "Hello there, I would like to say something." What are you going to ask them? Do you know what these cages are for? That strange frame, alone in the water, in the middle of nowhere. You have to keep thinking about it. Do you know what these cages are for? You ask the parents. Oh, those. The father's face lights up. We've just taken some photos of them. I think they're for children to climb on. They're not meant for children, his wife chips in. That's how people here catch lobster, and whales and things like that. Bullshit, the son murmurs. He pokes the sand with his wooden branch, probably imagining he is stabbing someone. They're from the Middle Ages, and people were put in there to drown. All kids. Looking for the girl. I'm looking for this girl, you say, and show them a photo of Tabitha. The parents bend forward and squint in order to see the little face better. No, sorry, the father says, and goes back to sipping his fruit juice. No, me neither, the wife adds. It's gonna go the first time. Yeah, I usually just change the words. I forgot to that time. What are you going to ask them? Nothing, who are you kidding? You decide to lean into your antisocial side. You get comfortable in the deck chair. The incoherent chatter of the family remains merely a static noise in the background. Not too shabby. The dark clouds drawing together on the horizon worry you a little, but they're far away enough for you to simply enjoy the moment, on a beach. I got lost in the role. Technically, you have been near a beach the whole time, but you couldn't really switch off. There was a haunting sense of danger, a feeling of paranoia that you simply couldn't shake off. Luckily, the paranoia has now gone. A cool sea breeze caresses your face as you tune out of the other tourists' annoying conversations. You listen to the murmur of the waves. The regular to and fro of the sea has a soothing effect on you. Oh no! Your eyes fall shut. Big mistake. Big mistake shutting your eyes. It's cold. You're freezing, which is annoying because you had settled down quite comfortably in one of the deck chairs. You could swear you'd noticed a shadow while half asleep. There was a figure who tried to grab you and carry you away, Was that all a dream? A chilly wind blows on your face. Oh, this case is going to be the death of you. You simply lie there as if dead. Your attempts to return to a more comfortable position are punished by a stabbing pain in your behind. Some bit from the chair is digging into you. Probably a cheap model. Damn, tight asses. You mutter weakly and push yourself into an upright position. The sun is now set and all other holidaymakers have gone. Instead of freezing their asses off, they're probably sitting in a warm hotel now. The moon illuminates the beach and the waves shimmer in this eerie green glow. Green nature is fascinating. You stretch your tense neck when you notice some lights off in the distance. Night has fallen, and with each passing minute it seems to get chillier. The lights appear to be moving and are leading away from the town. You wonder whether you should take a closer look at the spectacle or go to your warm hotel. We're going to go to the hotel. Why not? It's freezing, and you've already screwed up the case. The day is over and there's no way you'll manage to find the little girl today. Off to the hotel. You leave the beach bar with a heavy heart and walk back to the harbour. And it's saved. Right, I am going to stop there. Story time is over. It's a interesting story. It's I do want to find out more about what's happened. So I will probably play the rest of that at some point on my Wednesdays. It's currently 90% off. So if you're interested in it yourself, it's very cheap just now. It's only £1. It came out a few years ago, 2020, from Robot Pumpkin Games, published by Assemble Entertainment. I've played quite a lot of Assemble Entertainment's adventure games. They've sent me quite a lot. But yeah, Innsmouth Case. I was quite enjoying it. It's a lot of reading though. If you weren't streaming, it would be a lot quicker to get through. There's a total of 27 possible endings. 30 animated characters. Solve the mystery of the disappearance of Tabitha Marsh. So yeah, it'd be interesting to try and work out all the different endings as well. It won't be the same without my acting, but oh well. I try my best. Right, I will have to stop there. I've got my work today, unfortunately. I will be back tomorrow morning. I'm meant to be doing a first look on Wild Mender, which I don't know what sort of game that is. What sort of game is that? Desert gardening survival game. Okay. So we're going to take a look at that tomorrow. Thank you, Kaiser, for the raid messages. Right, let me see who I can raid quickly. I didn't notice many people on earlier. Salfea's on with wildflowers. We could raid Salfea. Salford Sal's on. A couple of Dwarf Fortress people. Let's just raid Salfea. Get some light-hearted after that heavy game. They are always a wee bit heavy, those Lovecraftian stuff. So yeah, so thank you all for being here. Thank you for the support as usual. I hope the rest of your day goes well. Say I shall be back tomorrow morning. But yeah, until then, you all take care, be safe, and I will say bye for now.